Hey guys, what's up? It's Heather. I'm here again with the Mars playthrough of TerraGenesis on beginner mode with biomass and Daughters of Gaia. Let's just go ahead and get into it. Last time we were setting up all of our money, and we went through and we built some spaceports, and we learned that mining is just not the way to go. I mean, look at this. We have live shows happening in Howl's Melody, and they make more than the mine. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, mining is just not effective. But less on that, more on next steps. So, let's see. I mean, we want water. So, whatever. Okay, so we're on Daughters of Gaia, which means that we want to terraform. There are going to be factions who don't care one way or another about terraforming. That's Horizon, UNSA, and Far Future Institute, where, they can terraform. It isn't a bad idea to terraform for them. It might even help you attain their goals, but they don't need to terraform like the Daughters of Gaia do. And then there's the Sons of Hephaestus, who straight up refuse to terraform, and it will be the opposite of what you want to do. This is the last thing they want to do. But we are Daughters of Gaia, so we want to increase the heat, increase the pressure, increase oxygen, increase water, and increase biomass. So let's get started on researching some of these larger techs. Now, if you're just starting out, you can build the heating cluster, like you can build the first tech, but keep in mind that unless it doesn't matter how long it takes, truly. If you want to get through it faster, you should start researching techs like this, like as soon as you can. But if you don't care how long this is going to take, I mean, obviously you can, it's a free country, it's a free planet, you can do what you want. I, however, do want to hurry this along for the sake of the video. And I've said this before, you are not obligated to spend any GP. I am spending GP for the sake of the video. You can wait the 30 minutes or the hour or how long it takes to research these things. The point of it, though, is that you are going to need these techs, and hopefully... Nice. We have a new style of architecture in Wong Ranch. Hopefully you have done all the setup that was what we walked through in the beginning of this playthrough. You did your spaceports. So hopefully you have credits to buy all these things. If not, definitely get those spaceports going. Let's just start with the heating stuff and the pressure stuff for now. So what we need to do is we need to increase the heat, which we are just not doing, to 287,000 millikelvins. We're not all that far away. Some planets will be way overshot, like Mercury and Venus, and some will be under, some will be crazy under, like Pluto. But we are kind of far away on the pressure. We've had the spaceports generating something, but it's really not a lot. And we can't do anything further down the line until we get these things going. Like, we can't have biomass until we have some pressure, right? But we can have, so I'll get into the water a little bit later. We can have water, obviously, because we have, water in different states. You can have ice, you can have liquid, you can have pressure or vapor. So, like, obviously you can have some water, but basically the way it works is you want to get pressure or heat and pressure first, and then you can work down the line when you're working on Mars and the moon. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our cities, and let's see what we can build in terms of facilities. So one thing that I would recommend, I know a lot of players do, is they use specific cities for specific functions. So you have one city that's for heat, and you'll have another city that's for pressure, and another city that's for oxygen, and it just keeps things really organized. And it really helps if you have like an emergency and you need to turn off a specific thing. It really helps to just have it all in one place. Some people even go as far as to rename the cities, like temperature, pressure, oxygen, just so that they can really quickly remember, like, okay, that's the city that handles this. So it's something that you can do. It's something, keeping it organized is definitely something I recommend, but up to you if you want to name it, like go as far as naming it. I love the names that we've put in, so I just keep those. So yeah, just gonna go ahead and get started building that temperature. Now, because we are on beginner mode, we can't do satellites. There is a satellite called the Soletta that handles temperature, which is really helpful, really helpful when you play, because it just keeps the temperature stabilized at something, whatever you set it to. So obviously if you were Gaian, you'd set it to 287,000 millikelvins, but because we're on beginner, we can't do that. So we do need to build these orbital mirrors. Otherwise, I would just say earn a bunch of money and just build the Soletta, because like super easy, very convenient. Okay, so you can see that it also has some other effects going on. We do want biomass and we do want water, so we are going to have to balance those out. It's fine. We will build facilities that will balance it out like crazy, but just know that if you're like, trying to keep things stabilized, like especially when it comes to water, you're just gonna have to keep in mind that some facilities do many things. So I'm going to upgrade it. And one thing, I'm not sure if we went over this in the last video, but one thing to keep in mind is even if you upgrade it to its fullest, which is level, so the farthest you can upgrade it to is level 5. It can go to level 10, like you see right here, but that's only if a prodigy comes along and just figures out how to maximize efficiency, and then it can get to level 10. Otherwise, as far as you can go is level 5. With that being said, you can run it on a different level. So you can have it up to 5, but downgrade it to level 3 or 2 or whatever. And this is really convenient when you've had a facility going for a long time and you like the facility for some, like the stuff that it's doing, but then you're trying to balance it out later on. Like, you need to kill 10 pressure somewhere. Like, okay, well, you can, downgrade a facility and still keep a lot of the positive effects while stabilizing things. Super helpful. So great. So we've got one orbital mirror. I'm going to come in here to the next city and I'm going to build a pocket mine. And like I said, I am just hurrying things for the sake of the video. I personally don't ever want our players to feel like they have to spend GP to play this game. We do, in this industry, there's the notion of pay to win floating around. Maybe that's true on like multiplayer games, but when it comes to like a single player game, it's like, if anything, it's just pay to speed up, and you're basically speeding up grass growing. Because you'll win no matter how long it takes. Like eventually, if you're doing it right, you'll win. Anyway, it's just one of those things. Okay, so as you can see, pressure is increasing, and let's see at what rate it is going. So if we were to just leave it like that, it's not going super fast. I mean, we don't need it to get very far, granted, but it's not going fast. So there are a few things that we can do to speed this up. See, like, we wouldn't keep this on for a day. We would keep this on for like 5 hours and then we'd be good. We'd overshoot it, but we'd be good. So a couple things you can do here. One is you can use a fast forward hour. So this is actually not a bad idea when you want to use it. You don't even have to pay like the GP. You can just come in here and you can click and you can kind of see what your temperature, pressure, all that stuff will be over the course of like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, what have you. And if you notice, they're estimates, first of all. Like, you know, it might be this, might be a little off. It's not exact, it's not perfect, but this is a good estimate. And if you'll notice, because we're raising the temperature and we're raising the pressure, which also increases the temperature, look what's happening. Our water is increasing. So we really have to be mindful when we're raising temperature, raising pressure, that it doesn't just affect temperature and pressure, it affects other factors. So we really got to be careful when we're doing things. Also worth keeping in mind that when you build these facilities, you have the opportunity to overshoot, right? You can very easily reach your goal if you build like a dozen of orbital mirrors or a dozen pocket mines. You can reach your goal and then you can accidentally overshoot your goal. And you can turn Mars into what looks like a little mini Jupiter. It's got very thick clouds. It's got like a kind of like a salmon cloud over it and then like some red ring. And we get players all the time emailing us like, you know, I don't understand, there's like a graphics issue, my Mars looks super fuzzy. And we'll be like, oh yeah, I think I know what's going on, but just in case, please send us a photo. And they send us a photo and lo and behold, pressure's been overshot and it is like another Jupiter. And so it's like, yeah, all you have to do is reduce your pressure. It's so common though. It is so common. I mean, even I have done it, just forgetting a game, like, oh my gosh, I didn't pause. And pretty soon Mercury just is a snowball, like not a snowball, a fluff ball. You know what I mean? Anyway, yeah, very common to do. So when you're raising all these things, when you're doing all these things, if you are leaving it alone and you don't think you're going to check it, like, let's just say you're going to bed and you're not going to be able to check it for the next 3 hours, like, make sure you pause. See that? Make sure you pause. It's paused right now. And this means that nothing is increasing or decreasing or anything. It is stuck here. That's if you are definitely raising any stats very quickly and you're not going to keep an eye on it. Pause button is very beneficial. With that being said, if you have everything stabilized and you're just trying to increase the population to get those culture points, and you are very, very, very positive you have everything stabilized and you are not worried that you're going to have like too much water or too much oxygen and kill everything off. If you are positive, then, you know, feel free to leave it unpaused. I personally do not play like that because I am terrified of what may happen in my negligence. Cool, so we got a pay dirt thing, which, you know, we're not really banking on because we don't mine very much. But cool to have. Alright, because I talked about it, I am going to do a fast forward real quick. As you can see, when it's red, it's not good yet. Like, it's still not habitable. You want it in the blue at least for people to be able to, you know, for it to be like a habitable-ish temperature or habitable-ish that's not a word, but okay, pressure. When it's in the green, that means it's within 5% of the goal stats. So when it's green and you're Gaian, it's perfect. So that is what we would ideally like. Let's see. The water is crazy increasing. That's half our goal. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. It's a risk, but I'm still gonna do it. Oh, look at that. Look at that beautiful Mars. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, we got a little bit of water. Oh, beautiful. And we've got a red ring slowly forming. This is so this is something we've added later on in the game. Early players, pre 5.0 players, we didn't have this yet, but basically it's an indicator of oxygen content in our atmosphere. So right now it's red. It is not good. It'll eventually hit blue, which, yeah, we're gonna accept that, obviously. Blue, which is good, and we can overshoot it and it can get like a sickly yellow. So it's like a really nice at a glance kind of, okay, where's my oxygen at? Not the most scientifically accurate, but definitely just helps when you're trying to keep an eye on things. Okay, so I've talked a lot and we've overshot our pressure or our temperature. Remember, I said that is a possibility and one we didn't want to do, but that's okay, because what we're going to do is just disable it real quick. And now our temperature facility is off, but that doesn't mean that our temperature is not increasing. See, look, we're still at plus 15 per minute. And the reason is because our atmosphere is still thickening, right? So now that the atmosphere is getting thicker and thicker, it's trapping more pressure, or more temperature in, more heat. I can speak, I promise. So, okay, we still need, at this rate, we're still gonna need 2 more hours on pressure. I am afraid, though, that if I were to like fast forward for 2 hours, not doing anything else, we would overshoot our heat pretty badly. Let's take a look. Oh, no, that's actually not too bad. We are going to have to decrease it, though. It's going to get too hot. So I think what I'll do is I will build... Oh, I don't have it researched first. Silly me. Okay, I'm going to research a cooling plant real quick. Oh, come on. Okay. We're going to go into our population and let's just build a cooling plant. And okay. Wait, what was the temperature at? So it had been at plus 15. We should have built 2. Okay, that's fine. So actually, I'm just going to build a second one. And what we're going to do is upgrade. So I know it says upgrade all, but it'll upgrade like all the buildings. And I don't want to mess with some of the other stats. Like, for example, I don't want to increase more pressure than I already am. So I just want to just do the cooling plants. Okay. Okay, cool. One more actually. And the reason why I like to do it like this is because I have the power to kind of just change it by 2 as needed. It'll come in handy a lot later. We'll come back to it. But this does give a little more opportunity to stabilize things down the road. Okay. So now that we're decreasing a little bit. Our heat is decreasing ever so slightly. Yes, that's awesome. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back to our fast forward. And in 1 hour, we'll hit that pressure goal. That's beautiful. So what you could do is you could just wait the hour, right? All of these things, when you do fast forward, you can just wait that time. I'm really only showing you for purposes of this video. But in the meantime, we're getting that temperature and pressure squared away. We're going to need to do the next stuff. So water, if you recall, water is like halfway done, right? So we only need we only need another 300,000. So just real quick, let's look at the map. Let's see if we see water on the surface yet. Oh, we sure do. We've got a lake over here. We've got something starting over here. Eventually, this area will become an island. This, well, it's kind of like that. But it will all start to fill in. And if you've built in lower areas, it's going to be, you know, danger time. But for us right now, we're good. Okay, so since we have squared heat away, I am going to just keep using Hal's Melody to build stuff for like oxygen. We're going to need to research it first, obviously. It would be more organized to just found a new city and do oxygen, but I don't want to get into it right now. Just saving some time. So let's build some oxygen facilities. You don't always have to go for the max one. I find that when you're trying to get somewhere quickly, like unless you are babysitting it. Oh, very cool. Let's see. Habdome does population, water, and what was it? There's like one other thing. I'm not remembering off the top of my head, but I think it's okay. So when you're trying to get somewhere really quick, like when you're trying to get your heat up quickly or get your pressure up quickly, obviously, you know, the big guns help. But later down the line, when you're trying to stabilize, the smaller ones are going to be your best friends. So it's okay if you build some smaller ones in the beginning. It's okay if you don't go straight for these. But obviously it's really helpful when you're just trying to speed through a Let's Play video very quickly. All right, so let's build some oxygen. We'll build one for now because I think we already have like 15,000 oxygen. Where'd it go? And it'll be taking down some pressure, but that's okay because it actually just balanced out right there. Okay, so let's see what it will do. All right, so that is not a lot. If we left it alone for a day, we would overshoot our oxygen goal, but that's kind of how long it's going to take to get even in the neighborhood. So let's build another. Let's build some more. So this is the danger of overshooting, by the way, because here I am building 5, which is ridiculous. It truly is ridiculous. But, and my pressure is going to go down because of this, so I do need to check that. It's ridiculous to do that. It truly is. Unless you are absolutely babysitting this, because it's going to take time. And, or it's going to, you really run the risk of overshooting. Okay, so I've overshot my pressure if I do it like this. Oh, what happened here? Okay, satellites have discovered a massive incoming meteoroid. Aerobrake will release water and oxygen. Okay, well, we wanted the oxygen. And then letting it crash will thicken the atmosphere. You know, we're going to do the water and oxygen because that really wasn't that bad. Okay. So if I leave it alone for 3 hours, I've overshot the pressure goal, which is fine. We can bring it down. But we are getting pretty close to the oxygen goal. So instead of doing that and overshooting, because I really dislike overshooting too far, especially when we hit the green, is I'm just going to do it for 2 hours. So ideally this is when you would come back to your game after, like, you know, putting it down for a minute. I say a minute. Let's say like you eat dinner, you know, you answer some emails, or I don't know, whatever it is you do. And you come back after not playing for 2 hours, and this is what you would come back to. I mean, it's getting much more beautiful. Well, I mean, Mars was beautiful before. Yes, I get it, but this is just stunning. I think it's just stunning. We've got water up there and our beautiful little lake. So yeah, you've come back from eating dinner and you want to fix up your stats before things get farther. So 5,000 more to go and we're done with pressure. So because we want more oxygen, I mean, we're just over halfway. What I would, So so here's this random event where we can either get live shows and more population in Hal's Melody. I mean, it really is helpful, especially when you do it very early on in the game. Or we can get more money. Earlier, when we did this happened already. Earlier, when we got this random event, we decided to do paid broadcasts. And the reason why we wanted to do that is because we wanted more money. And we're at a point right now where we're still building lots of facilities. The money could really, really help. Like, not gonna lie, we will probably run out of money if we are just trying to do this in a straight shot. But we're gonna come to a point where we're already done terraforming. You know, we've hit paradise status, and we're not gonna have enough people. We do need to hit population markers to be able to get enough culture points. So population growth really does help. Because we already did the paid broadcasts, I'm going to go ahead and do the live shows. It is helpful if you do it early on enough, because then, you know, +5 per minute over hours and hours, right, and days. I mean, it adds up. So I am going to do that. All right. So the other thing that we haven't done yet, and I should have done it, but I was being silly, is we need to get a governor in that'll help us with our goals. So we were trying to increase oxygen. So we might want someone like Raphael, but let's see who else we have. You know, at this point in the game, that is probably who you have, is Raphael. So why don't we use him? Because he's probably the guy that you have, right? Yeah, so we're gonna use him. And look at that. Look at that oxygen growth. Man, I should have been doing that from the beginning. Oh, everyone tell me in the comments that I should have been doing that from the beginning. Just shame me. Just be like, come on, Heather, you named these guys. Like, you know these people. Didn't even use them. Just shame me. Just absolutely shame me in the comments. But until then, we're going to do a power boost. Boop. Okay. So let's see what our oxygen growth is like now. Nice. Oh, crap. Yeah, we can't even fast forward this. It's growing so fast. We will make our planet sick if we do that. So, woo. Okay. Wow. Incredible. Go, Raphael. All right. Let's take a look at our water. What's our water situation like? Okay, it's not bad. If we left this alone for a day, we would slightly overshoot, but we would reach it. So we're well on our way. So while I was busy trying to figure out how to close this video, I don't know when it happened, but I just noticed that we have hit plant life habitability. So all of our stats are in the habitable range for plants. So this doesn't mean that, you know, humans can go on the surface, but we can actually start planting like grasses and what have you out on the surface of Mars. I mean, this is like, you know, monumental time for Martians everywhere, right? For humanity, for civilization, what have you. Like, this is mind-blowing, mind-boggling, and we did it in between this video and the last video, like an hour and 15. Like, go us. We're amazing. We're like gods among mortals. Anyway, so that's awesome. What I'm going to do is babysit this because I really don't want the oxygen overshooting. And when we come back, I will have the oxygen goal done, and then we will end the video. So, all right, see you in a bit. Okay, so we are going to talk about this real quick because we are rapidly approaching our pressure goal. So I am going to I'm going to do something about it. I'm not going to turn these off completely because, like you saw, we've got some stuff that's decreasing it by 60 per minute. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just reduce it down to level 1, like you see here. And now it's still growing at 60 per minute, so it's still an issue, but it's not as big of a deal. And we can't turn those off yet because we still need that oxygen. So yeah, we hit the priority, we did the mission. So it's complete, but obviously it's not done yet, because even though the goal was to get 180,000, or that was the mission, the goal is to get to 210,000. So we're almost there, almost there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and check our stats now. And we are very close, very close. But because we have nothing that's decreasing, if we were to turn it off, it would just be off. So I do like to wait until we're pretty much there. Oh man, so close, so close, so close. I think I'm just going to turn them off now. And I say that because we still have something that is slowly increasing it, and since we are already in the green, we're already in paradise stats, yeah, I'm just going to turn them off now. So disable, 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 disable. Okay, this also means that we need to check up on our pressure. See, because we've disabled everything that was balancing it, suddenly our pressure is increasing again. So what we're going to do is disable it. And now our growth is at 20 per minute, and it's not perfect, obviously, but it is better. If left alone, it will get bad, but we're still kind of babysitting it, so it's fine. So all right, so in the next video, we're going to go over water biomass and hopefully just wrap this up. So thanks for watching, and as always, terraform responsibly.